Hello everybody, my name is Bullet Bill, and in this redstone build, if I have a look and show you, this looks like an ordinary corridor and it goes through to a little storage room of sorts over here. But there's a little button on this wall, so let's press that and see what this does. And a staircase appears from the middle of the corridor and the ceiling opens up. How cool is that? Leading to my secret little treasure area. I don't actually have this much netherite, this is in creative mode. And if I press this button, I can even close it behind me, and that even leads the way to another room or another area of your base, whatever you want. And if I want to go back down, I can. So, before I teach you how to build this, let's look at how the redstone works. So first of all, it doesn't take a genius to work out that these stairs are pushed by pistons. And as you can see, I've got a little sample of what's happening here. I've got 3 sticky pistons and they're being powered. So this redstone torch is powering that block that will fire these 2 pistons. And then this redstone dust will power this piston directly. So they should all fire. And as you can see, I can push them in and out with this lever. But obviously this doesn't look particularly good. Because they're stair blocks, I have a little gap in here. So how can I fix that? Well, you can actually change the texture of stairs if you place stairs around them. And let me show you what I mean. So if I break this block here and place some stairs facing backwards, now all of a sudden the texture of the stair block changes. So let's do that with all of these. If I place a stair block here next to that stair block and then another stair block here, all of a sudden I can't see that these are stair blocks anymore. They look just the same as the ordinary oak wood planks around it. But I can still fire these pistons and they become normal stair blocks just like they're supposed to. But when they're retracted, they think that they need to be lined up with these stair blocks here, which makes them flush with the wall. And before I go right into the tutorial, I thought I'd show you how the redstone works on this circuit. So we have 2 inputs essentially. This is the button on the inside of the corridor. Now this activates a T flip-flop, I'll show you this shortly, which will fire those pistons. And we've also got another input from here from the sort of secret room on top, and that leads to this same sticky piston, which will also activate the T flip-flop. So I can make those stairs appear and reappear whenever I like. And the floor slash ceiling giving way is basically these trapdoors. So these trapdoors, well, we can't really see them here. Let's go inside. These trapdoors here are being powered when I press this button, which causes them to open up like that. So before I start this tutorial, I am going to warn you guys that if you want a redstone build like this in your base, you probably need to build it first, as in the redstone behind it, and then you could build the rest of your base or the rooms around that. If you try and put this into a base that you already have, it will probably be very difficult. You might not have enough space to fit the redstone in and things like that. So ideally, have this design in mind when you're building a base from scratch. Don't try and shoehorn it in a build that you already have. So with that said, the first thing we're going to need is our 3 pistons. So 1, 2, 3, going diagonally like that. And they are going to have to push and pull the stair blocks. So I'm going to place a stair block here, a stair block here, and a stair block here. Now obviously this can work with any block that you can make into stairs. I'm just using oak wood. Now the next thing that we have to do is we have to power all of these pistons, because obviously they need to extend and retract. And for that, I'm going to use these red concrete blocks. Now the reason I'm using red concrete blocks is so that if I know that there's redstone on it, actually let's make this a red concrete block as well. So that if you're mining, let's say underneath this building, you come across a bit of red concrete, then you know not to break that block. So we need a redstone torch here going into a block that's between these 2 pistons, and then finally just 1 piece of redstone dust to power this piston like that. Then we need to do the same for the opposite side. So here is the stair block, and when it's extended, it's going to be pushed to this block, so this should be in the right space. There is another stair block, and another stair block there. Get rid of these temporary blocks. I'm going to place sticky pistons just like I did before. So these should be able to extend and retract. Psst! Hey, you watching the video. Want to give it a like if you like it or you found this useful. Maybe leave a comment, see what redstone builds you want. Really appreciate it. And as you can see, I've just repeated the exact same thing that I've done with the other side. I placed a redstone torch here, which is powering a block that powers these two pistons, and then a piece of redstone dust, like that. Okay, so next up we need to build the walls around the stairs themselves. As you can see, I've made a start on a little corridor here, but it's going to be a little bit trickier when it comes to this stairway here, because don't forget, we need to place stair blocks that when these stairs are attracted, that we don't have the little bit missing so that you can see it on the wall, because that doesn't look particularly great. So I'm going to place a stair block here. Remember, it has to be facing backwards, so that from here, it looks like an ordinary oak plank block. A stair block here, and a stair block here. And let's do that again with this side. And if I test this out, I've just placed levers, by the way, on these blocks with the redstone torch, so I can quickly test if that works. So if I retract these pistons here, and as you can see, they've got the flat side of the block facing outwards. So that's perfect. So let's fill in the rest of this wall. Okay, so that's all done. As you can see, we've got our corridor here. But then if we power both of these levers, then we have our staircase like that. So now what we want to do with our build is we need a way to be able to make this staircase appear and disappear a little bit more easier. We need our input that will plug in to these two blocks with the redstone torch on them, like that, so that we don't have to turn these two leaves on like this. And for that, we're going to need to dig out quite a lot of the underside of this corridor here. So I'm going to do that quickly now. And there we go. With the magic of editing, I now have a giant hole underneath my corridor, so I've got plenty of room to place in my redstone. Now, obviously, if you're doing this in survival, you don't have to dig in quite a big a space, but also it can be quite an idea just to give yourself plenty of room to work with, because don't forget, you could always fill in the blocks afterwards, and that won't really take too long. It will make your life much easier. So, anyway, we need to wire this up so that we can power these two blocks. These blocks with the torches, remember, that's what controls whether our pistons get extended or not. So what you're going to do, now I'm going to use the red concrete as well. Obviously, you could use any different type of block, just something that you know there's going to be redstone on it. I'm going to place a block here and a redstone torch. So that's underneath this redstone torch. So obviously the piston's going to fire again, and I'm going to do the same here. Block here, redstone torch under it, and that should turn this redstone torch off, which it is. Okay, so now we need to be able to power these two blocks, which we can do easily. I'm just going to place some blocks through like this, and if we line these up with redstone dust like that, and I'm going to do a little check. This is a good idea to do whenever you're building with redstone. I'm going to place a lever here, and let's see if I power this redstone line, this should fire both of these pistons on and off. So let's try. Yep, there are our stairs. If I turn it off again, then they get retracted. Perfect. Now, this design is going to use a T flip-flop so that you could toggle it between on and off, or stairs or no stairs, I suppose. So we're going to place an input here that's going to be a button. You shouldn't really have a lever with T flip-flops, they don't really work. And on the other side of this block, which I believe is this block here, you're going to place a sticky piston facing down. And then onto that sticky piston, you're going to place an observer. So what's going to happen is when this piston is going to fire, it's going to push that observer out, and that observer is going to give us a very quick signal, which should work as a T flip-flop. So underneath this observer, you're going to place a block just one space below the observer like that. Then you're going to place a sticky piston on that block, and then you're going to place a block of redstone on that block like that. Now if this works, when I press the button it should spit out the redstone block, and then when I press it again it should pull it back. So let's give that a quick test. Press the button, there's the redstone block spat out. Press the button again, works perfect. So now I simply need to link this redstone block to this line of redstone, like so. So that now, when this redstone block is pushed one block ahead, it should power our stairs like this. Let's quickly have a look. Perfect. So now we have one of our inputs. So next up, we need the ceiling. So to do that, first of all, we need one more stair block here that won't be retracted. So I place some temporary blocks here and place 2 stair blocks like that. So that's going to ensure that we can actually make it all the way to the top. We can break these temporary blocks now. And then we need to build up these 2 walls so that they are too tall. I'll do that in just a second. Okay, perfect. Next up, we need our trapdoors. So now these could be any trapdoors really, but you don't really want any trapdoors that have little gaps in them, like the acacia, like the crimson, or the oak, because then you'll be able to see it through, which isn't ideal. But then it's up to you. Maybe you prefer that design, but I think a solid one will work better. So a spruce, birch, or a dark oak. What you're going to do is you're going to place them on the bottom half of these top blocks. So notice I'm not placing them here because that's on the top half of this block. I'm placing them here, bottom half of this block, and then obviously again for the other side. And actually, you don't need trapdoors where the stairs are. So now the only thing to do is to power these trapdoors so they actually open up. Because as you can see, if I press my button here, oh fantastic, I've got my hidden staircase, but I can't get up because the ceiling's in the way. So let's put some redstone to power these trapdoors. So to do this, we're going to use a torch tower. So I'm going to use my red concrete again so that I know which block has redstone on it. Redstone dust here, then a block, then I'm going to have a redstone torch, a block on top of that, and then another redstone torch. Now, it's very, very important that you get the signal right here. So, you see how this redstone torch is off right now? That is the type of signal that we want. Because if you have a look, the stairs are not here. So we want the trapdoors to be closed and unpowered. So, if I place a block on top of that, and then another block to the side here, and then all I need to do is run redstone down the sides here. Now that should, I know I've only done one side, but let's test it out. Those trapdoors should open like that. Okay, so let's do the same for this side. So I'm going to use my red concrete again. So redstone here, redstone torch, then another block, then another redstone torch, to another block, and then if we line that up, connect that with redstone. And remember, this is the correct signal because it should be off right now because the stairs aren't here. Then if I power it, there go the trapdoors like that. Now there's only one thing left to do. We need another input because when the stairs are raised and you are up here, you want to ideally be able to remove the stairs back again so that no one knows that you're up here in the first place. So to do this, well, it's really simple actually. You just have an input here, and you have to get the signal all the way over to this piston here, because this piston is in charge of this T flip-flop, which will retract the stairs and make the stairs appear and disappear, basically. So you can do this however you want. So I'm going to have a button here, and then let's see, if I take redstone out like this. Now you've got to be careful, obviously, that it doesn't interfere with any other components in your build, but although we will deal with that, that shouldn't be a problem. Just snake it down like this, and then that should power that piston. Let's have a look though. So if we place redstone like that, now you see I've run into my first problem here. That redstone is going to power those trapdoors, so we don't want that. So a repeater can come to our rescue here. Let's get a repeater and place them down like that. And also, I'll probably need a repeater here because this will probably interfere with this piston if I place just normal redstone dust. But then the rest should be completely fine, and then that should power this piston, but let's double check. Easy as that. And that is essentially your hidden staircase design done. Now, don't forget, you do not have to do everything exactly how I've done it in this video. So, you do not have to use a T flip-flop, for example. You can connect these up differently. You could use something else other than trapdoors. It's completely up to you. But this design by itself should work perfectly as a hidden staircase. Okay then guys, so that is it for this redstone build. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Bullet Bill. Hope you enjoy this little tutorial, and I will see you in the next video.